transferred to human bodies. You can now go down to transplant agencies and put in an order for a pig to grow your blood type, to grow your organs just in case you have a heart attack. Never mind teaching you how not to get a heart attack. We will build a whole industry waiting for you to get your inevitable heart attack. They have all kinds of pigs. They got cows. They got sheep that are growing human shit. They got one with a human head. They say, oh, get the fuck out of here, Reverend Valentine. Bullshit. They got something, a sheep with a human head? Damn right. They're growing human bodies inside of sheep ovaries. Ooh, Yaku is going, he's out of control. Yaku is out of control. And these are Christians. 9 times out of 10, most of these damn geneticists are Christians. Yeah, they're Christians. Arose by any other name. Now, check this. The process of cross-genetic interspecies breeding, when introduced into humans, not from human to the other species, but from the other species into the human, will create a disease called acromegaly. Now, acromegaly is the disease that Akhenaten had. Now, acromegaly changed him into a hermaphrodite. Now I say, well, damn. One of our greatest kings who believed in one God, they had to kill that motherfucker. You kidding? You come in there with one God perception? All the rest of the gods said, you out your mind. There's no such thing as one God. There is no such thing as a God. God is a creation of man. And until we understand that, you are God. That the only realization that you have that there is a God is because you have to be God to realize that. The only reason you have the realization to realize that there is a God is because you are God. You could not be unless God gave you the realization to be, and that you realize that you are. You are God. I'm speaking to God. God's speaking to itself. God has conversations with itself. And this is what it's all about. You ain't waiting for somebody to come down and talk about Jesus spoke to me to do anything. Anytime you think God is speaking to itself. You're waiting for some outside source. And that's the deep part of Christianity, you in a Christian state. Check this out. You can go talking to God all the hell you want. They tell you, speak to God, talk to God. But as soon as somebody tells you that God spoke to them, they think you're crazy. They want to lock your ass up in a Christian institution because God spoke to your ass. But what the hell? You've been talking so long, why wouldn't you be getting an answer? Why should it be so strange if there is a God and somebody's saying I'm getting answers, somebody's talking to me, God is telling me to do it, why shouldn't I believe you? If God is out there to be spoken to, you doing all this damn praying. The work of the geneticist, the new gnostic, the process of cross-pollination causes all forms of deformity. And how does this happen? How does deformity become created? I tell you, putting insects into insect genes into humans, putting all kind of animal things and cross-pollinating, doing all kind of crazy things out of your mind, disturbing the order, only because you know that the present order cannot keep those who are us getting ready to leave, getting ready to get on the good freedom ship to get the fuck out of here. They know they got to stop that journey. The exodus is now. It's getting ready to happen. The so-called Moses that is the light that is you, your realization, self-realization that you call your Moses energy, leading you out of the land of bondage, the bondage of this three-dimensional consciousness time zone. You about to lead your damn self out, and they got to stop that journey. How do you stop this particular journey? Because all journeys of consciousness begin where? Within. So you can't be putting all kind of tubes and stuff on the outside, because inside is going to always bypass that bullshit. As a matter of fact, the physical body was meant to solve problems, meant to overcome adversities. So you could put all kind of chips, you could put a plug right up his asshole, and he's going to find a way to bypass that. So you got to get him at the essential level, where spirit, where light synthesizes and condenses and liquefies into the bloodstream. The direct connect, you got to get him there. The gene can be taught to synergize with the pig. Now let me tell you, a gene can be taught to synergize with the pig. And when eaten by man over a period of time, along with vaccinations, of course, you got to get 54 of them, remember. Now, why would you need to get 54 goddamn vaccinations? Unless it's to terraform you and to make you more susceptible to the species change that they got planned for you. The pig gene will teach the human body, after it's been introduced enough times, to interface with it. You see some motherfucker walking around with a big snout and a cloven hoof. An extreme danger to the genetic integrity of the human is when genes are deliberately implanted into the genome of a tomato, for instance, which don't become inactive in the tomato. Check it. The genes that are implanted into the tomato don't become inactive by the fact that the tomato becomes a tomato. In other words, it doesn't become part of the tomato construct. It's active. But are aimed in your tomato, these new genes that they're putting in, is aimed at the human brain. It is possible now to introduce what are known as buddy genes or soul mates, and that's S-O-L-E, that's for the sole purpose of mates, or what is called accompanying genes that become active only when you take it into a human construct. In other words, it's inactive while it's in the tomato, but when it comes into interfacing with your chemistry, it comes to life. It is possible now to introduce these buddy genes. The only problem for the geneticist would be to keep this buddy gene inactive in the food until it is taken in by the organism. This brain gene has no purpose or function in the tomato whatsoever. It is inserted specifically so that whoever eats this tomato absorbs and then activates this brain gene. The gene is then received by receptors in the brain that correspond to the artificial brain gene and is then synthesized with the DNA of the person. Now they say, well, that's impossible. How the hell does that happen? It does not happen just by a whim. Your body has to be slowly degenerated in order to accommodate this kind of change. A body that's in pristine health will not accommodate it because it will recognize the intrusion and then all forms would complete. It's like, what you doing here? Out? That's it. They ain't coming up in here. We got everybody's sane here. Everybody know who they are here. We know we don't know you. But if you have a retarded bloodstream based upon all the filth that the cow pus and the monkey pus and all the crap that you eat, the sugar, the salts, not the real sugars, not the real salts, I'm talking all the crap you breathe, everything that begins to degenerate the river of life and slowly dim the river of light. Now, under stealth, special forces, which essentially are what? Special forces are essentially the geneticists and their particular agents and their particular kind of, ordinances. Will go in under cover of ignorance and under cover of a polluted blood. Yes, own you. Brother put it succinctly. Own you. The gene is then received by receptors in the brain that